What if a building, brutalist in style, a style foreboding and criticized by many, ends up being a place that is welcoming and accommodating instead? I'm an architect, decades into my career. I love the collective beauty of great streets and public places, and how a collection of buildings can participate in the even greater work of architecture, the great public places and great outdoor rooms of our cities. Along these lines, one of my arcane interests is in seeking to understand the interface between the private life inside buildings and the public life outside, to explore this separation beyond the reality of just walls. What gives richness and meaning to each of these realms? And how can each of these worlds help each other in their parallel quest for meaning and quality of life? How can insides and outsides of buildings help each other? Part of what I hope to convince you about, the interest isn't as arcane as you might think. I believe that this interface is one of the things that makes our cities, our towns, and countryside more interesting and useful, directly lifting up everyone's quality of life. I'll do this through a series of videos, imagining the entry sequence of a number of different buildings. And I'll talk about the transition and interface of being on the street or other approach, and observing whether the processional experience there is in moving from the outside to the inside of a given building, what that's like. I'll talk about a wide range of different buildings and experiences, some good, some bad, and some that really cut through the arcane quest to study this interface. Why some places and cities become great from the collection of buildings and outdoor spaces alone. Truly crafted cities. I know a brutalist building that is warm and welcoming. It's the famous Breuer building, originally the Whitney Museum on Madison Avenue in New York by the Bauhaus architect Marcel Breuer. Every description that comes from researching the Breuer states that it is a brutalist work of architecture, the shock of the new, bold, barren, and maybe even unapproachable. On the face of it, not friendly to the surrounding city fabric and not friendly to human beings. A brief and uninformed description of the place might scare you off. And yet, the building is surprisingly welcoming to the street and gets along surprisingly well with the surrounding buildings. It visually separates itself from the city block where it's situated, yet it acknowledges that it's a participant in the block all the same. Rustic concrete walls and recesses at both ends of the building edges mediate between its own brutal stone-clad forms and the surrounding buildings of the block, acknowledging and even celebrating the block face established by those structures while proudly proclaiming its own individual expression. Even more interesting is that the brutal forms themselves are inviting to those passing by, a fortress that compels one to come in. An extroverted sculptural bridge and canopy reaches out, directing visitors to glass doors and a welcoming view inside. You are drawn in. Adding to the drama and anticipation of this experience is the sublime sculpture courtyard below that the bridge is crossing. The entry sequence is clear and effective. There is a clear division between the public realm and the private, the ultimate transformation from busy Madison Avenue public realm into a place that will help you contemplate the art it contains within. All visitors are welcome throughout the day, at least during normal business hours. If you're passing by and you've accepted the invitation to come into the building, you cross the bridge and you'll notice something else. The looming step structure above is monolithic, yet the stone facing introduces a secondary detail of a tailored effect, not rough or crudely industrial. Above, you'll notice some openings, few but very charismatic in shape and placement. Your perception of this building softens as you approach. Your perception of what might be inside also softens. As you enter, your mind is being changed. As you walk in, your mind is being prepared. An ideal transition. Once inside, the surprises continue. The interiors are warm and welcoming and accommodating to the artwork displayed inside, with its flexibility, its detail, and its choice of materials. The relationship between the outside and inside continues. Inside, display spaces are punctuated by the charismatic windows we've already talked about. They frame and direct the views of the city below. The building design is standoffish at first, but continues to surprise and delight on the outside. And then when you enter, your experience is warmth and accommodation. When I first saw pictures of this icon in my youth, and then finally got the chance to see it in the early 70s, I loved the audaciousness of it. But that didn't line up with the perceptions I'd collected in the years after. The Breuer is also a building that is warm and welcoming, as well as being a building that caps the block in the most satisfying of ways. This is a building that understands the dialogue I've been speaking of between the outside realm and the inside. The fact that it does it in an unexpected and, for 1964, unusual way, that it challenges some of our precepts about how a building participates in what makes a great city. And well, that's what makes it special. It's an unexpected brutalist building that plays a warm and welcoming part in the great city of New York. Thanks for being with us here at the Crafted City.